Where can I sit down? Has to be a place to sit. I guess I can go to the hub. Yo, Nova Bushida here. Welcome back to the channel. We are live to talk about some wilds and also to hang out. We'll see how actually busy it gets. Yo, Maka, how you doing, man? How are you doing? I'm just here chilling now, myself. So what are you guys up to? You guys up to much? Had a good day? Let me know if my audio is okay. Is this a stream where we fry wilds? Yeah, we can. I guess this would be seen as a more Duma like stream. Yes, you're right, Delta. It is that type of stream. I don't actually want to hunt too much or at all, really. I wanted to talk just about, I guess, maybe go over some comments from that video. We can look through them together. Not to bash anyone, you know. Everyone has their opinions. We can just go through them and try to talk about them in a proper manner. And then you guys can ask me any questions, and we can talk and just have a conversation about Monster Hunter, about how you feel about Monster Hunter. where we want it to go, what we don't want to see come back. Yeah, we'll go through that. I'll give it a couple minutes. We'll wait for some more people to come in. 3 minutes or so, then we'll get started. We're going to look at some comments. I haven't read all the comments. I was at work today, started a new job recently. My old contract finished up, so I was busy. So I missed out a lot of comments while I was at work, but a lot came through, so I want to see these for the first time with you guys. Based, I'm playing World right now, and I don't want to switch to Wilds. Yeah, you do you, man. You do you. Yo, Lance, man. Yo. There is a couple things I wanted to say. One thing in particular I wanted to say. Actually, no, I'll say it when we're about to start. Nova, is there any other games you're planning to check out since you're experiencing some burnout with Wilds? Well, I want to finish Clear Obscure. I do need to finish that. I want to finish Donkey Kong. I always play Master Duel, Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan. I was literally playing before I jumped on stream. So I'll just keep playing that, as I always do. There's so many indie games that I bought I just haven't played. The new... Let me just open up Steam right now. I'll just let you know. So we got new Titans Quest 2. I bought that, haven't played it. Age of Mythology, haven't played that. I need to play that. I never finished Dragon's Dogma 2, which I know is controversial, but I would like to finish that. Blasphemous 2. Oh, so many games. Honestly, so many games. That I need to get back to you. By the way, thanks for the question. DK Bonanza is really good. The finale blew me away. Okay. Well, that's good to hear. I want to get back to it because it looks quality. Like, things that are smooth. So I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. What other games is there? Let me see. To be honest, I've been buying too many games and not playing them. Like, I need to stop doing that. I've recently stopped doing that as much as I used to. But I'm definitely gonna start playing more games. But more times in my own personal time, you probably won't see it on the channel. It will just be me playing by myself, really. Cult of the Lamb. I've heard of Cult of the Lamb. I heard it's really good. Haven't played it. I know Hollow Knight is out, what, in 2 weeks? Silksong? I haven't played the first one. People are asking me if I want to play that game. I might play it. Maybe. Okay. It's 10 past, so we can start now. So there's one thing I want to say, and I was thinking about this. And, you know, YouTubing is really hard. Well, it can be hard. But one of the things that's hard about YouTubing is when if you're not like fully positive or fully negative, it's really difficult. It's really difficult because when you have different opinions and different things, like, I'm a very opinionative guy. Some things I hate, some things I like, some things I love, some things I dislike. You know, I will let you guys know, like, straight up. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't hide behind it to keep my fan base happy. Like, if you looked at the votes from that video, I'll pull up right now. Give me a second. That video that literally came out the other day. Oh, came out. Yes, yeah, literally yesterday, actually. Let me see. Is this the right screen? That's the wrong screen. Let me make sure I get the right one. Here we go. Is this that one? Maybe. Bear with me, guys. I have the wrong... Is this one? Yes, this one. Okay. Alright. So I'm going to go to my polls. If you look at the poll, like, for example, most people that follow me, or at least see the poll, they don't agree with me. Like I said, I'm around here, which is fine. You know, it's good. I like to highlight people with different opinions. But what I'm trying to say is, it's always difficult to have your opinion and make content, because some videos people are going to see you excited. Some videos people are going to see you annoyed. And then people are going to be like, oh, I don't want to watch this video because you're annoyed. Why you annoyed? And then like, oh, I don't want to watch this video because you're happy. It's like, you know, the Wild's haters are always going to be annoyed when I do good videos, and the Wild's lovers, enjoyers are going to be annoyed when I do bad video. But for me, I'm just doing videos on my opinions. Like, it's literally it. That's why it's really hard to make content around yourself. Like YouTubers who just do content for Monster Hunter for the sake of covering Monster Hunter. Like, they don't add their opinions. They just let you know the facts. They let you know what's the strongest build. They let you know facts about monsters. They devoid any opinion of theirs in their content, because opinions can lead to controversy, right? Those, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy, because as long as you lay down that stuff, people will be fine. So it's always been hard. It's always been one of the things that's probably kept my channel from growing as much. Because if I glazed Monster Hunter all the time, 100%, like things would be popping. But I don't glaze Monster Hunter all the time. Like, I'm gonna look to my videos, for example. And one thing that really annoyed me, and by the way, Lady Votes, I'll get to you in a second. One thing annoyed me. One guy, when I think it was my video on, I think it was on Palico, and one guy said, oh, didn't he talk about Palico before? He's just doing this for clicks. And I'm like, before I just gave my brief information on how I feel about Palicos. And that was how many months ago? I think that was back near the start of release. So that's 12th of March. And then finally, when I got around to it, because I started a new job around that time, I finally got around to it. And I made this Palico video 3 months later. And this is actually my full opinions documented. And one guy was saying, you're just milking stuff. And I'm like, well, first of all, I make more in real life. I make more in real life in one day than I make on YouTube in about, let's say, 6 months. that's firstly. So all the time I put into stuff, it's not because of money. It's because I want to do it. Like, so that stuff always annoyed me. And then also what annoyed me was, well, despite me putting videos, like if I wanted to milk something, look at this. One of my biggest videos was this video. I did a launch guide, 80,000 views. 80,000. If I wanted more views, I could have glazed everything. Glazed it all. Like, the views would have been popping. 15,000 views. 7,000. 25,000 here. Most of my popular videos are the videos where I'm actually glazing stuff, where I'm happy about stuff. Those are the videos that I do the most. The videos where I'm a bit more disappointed, which is more just an opinion piece because I want to talk about my opinions, those don't do too well. And I mean, one thing I decided when I started YouTubing, I think it was about 5 years ago. It was around COVID. I made 2 rules for myself. One thing, I don't want to do content. I always want to be true to myself. And second one was, I don't want to make content that I don't believe in. So I only make content that I believe in. And that's why I don't just talk about stuff like willy-nilly, like difficulty in Wilds, because I didn't know what to say. Like, there's so many things I could say. And in fact, I'll show you guys my script, because I said I have a script. I'm going to show you guys my script that I made. Briefly, you guys can have a look at it, because you guys are here with me. I never finished the script, because the script was getting too long. It was getting way too long, honestly. But I'll show you guys. But if you just feel like, I don't know, it's just a bit annoying. Okay, yeah, I'll show you guys here. Okay. Wait. Why is this not? Give me a second. Fit screen. That is not fitting screen. What the hell is that? Reset transformation. There you go. So this is, that's way too big still. I said what the hell are you doing? Just give me a sec, guys. Okay, this wants to be weird. So let me just size it down a bit. Okay. Okay. So I was making a script about difficulty. I was making a script. I haven't finished the script yet. This script was getting way too long. 27 pages. And I wasn't finished. I was not finished. 27 pages. And I was not finished. Like, this is the prelude. But like, so that's how normally I write. So it's like, what can I say? I don't want to take shortcuts. If I care about something, I don't want to take shortcuts. Meet man video script. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. But it's like, if I want to just to get big on YouTube, there's so many ways to do it, right? You can just glaze things, you can just make things look good, and people will come to you. They'll come to you. There you go. But I just try to be as truthful as possible. That was one of my rules, and I've tried to keep to that rule for the past 5 years, and here we are. And Lady Vote said, I'm at work, but good luck with the stream. Don't know if I can make it before you go tonight. And Lady Vote's 5 months of membership. I really appreciate Lady Vote's, honestly. What she said, guys, was what drew me to this channel was your authenticity. Yes, and also the fact sometimes I can't pronounce words. It's kind of funny. Boa said, social media has completely destroyed all nuance in discussions about anything. Yes, either you need to love it or hate it. You can't be in the middle. You can't have discussions about it. Like, I don't even hate Wilds. I'm just disappointed. Like, that's it. I still play it. Well, on stream. I don't play in my personal life. I don't, but I'm just disappointed. Young said, nothing wrong with being honest, man. The game isn't perfect by any means. There's a lot of frauds in the gaming community as well. Too many people that don't play games and just here for negativity. Yeah, no, 100%. There's 100% people who do that. And there's 100% people who do the opposite. And it's annoying. It's annoying. Now, there's a lot of people who gravitate to certain content because it makes them feel good. It makes them feel good that someone's positive, or it makes them feel good if someone's negative. So like I was saying, a channel like mine, where it's literally my opinions, and my opinions can be very unique. Like, no one really cares about Palicos. Like, that's a me problem. Right? That's a me problem. But I'll spend like 40, 50 hours of my life ranting up, writing a script, thinking about Palicos because I care about that. Right? When probably at 99% of Monster Hunter fans don't give a shit. But that's just the way I promised myself I'm gonna do it. Let me see if I can pronounce your name right. I'm just gonna call you GK. GK, how you doing, man? Ladyville said, treating YouTube as a hobby is the right attitude. If you pop off and start making a livable wages, making videos, that's honorable because it came from effort and not following trends. Well, I'm going to be honest to you, and this is the only time I'm going to say it to you guys. Like, I'm not going to repeat this. I earn quite a lot of money in real life. There is no way YouTube's going to make up for that. There is no way. Like I said, in one day, I make the same in probably at 6-7 months on YouTube. 6-7 months in one day. So like, all the extra time I put into that. That's how you know I care about this shit. Because I've been doing what I've been doing for 10 years, right? I'm a software engineer. I've been doing this for 10 years. I could be, if I really wanted to, I could just be in my own personal time doing things to make myself even more money. But I don't do that. I'm doing it because I want to talk about Monster Hunter. And I want to talk about Monster Hunter with you guys. So I'm going to let you know, there's almost, unless I get to like 100k subs, there's no way that YouTube's going to pay me more than my actual job. Probably even more than 100k. I think probably like 200k, something like that. Damn, showing up on Flex Stream. I'm gonna flex, man, but I'm flexing just to let these people know that's how much I care about the stuff I'm talking about. All right. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Like, I could be doing other stuff. Like, I started a new job. I was out at work. What was it? Actually, in fact, last time I streamed, my cousins came back from, my cousins came down from Manchester, right? And they wanted to chill with me. I came and chilled with them. And then I ran down from my parents' house at 11 because I had a stream at midnight. And I was like, you know, I need to stream with the guys because I promised them I'd stream with them. I missed last stream. And then we streamed for about 4 hours until 4 a.m. And then the next day, a girl I'm seeing, I had to go out to see her. And I'm just saying that because that's how much I care about talking about Monster Hunter and the people who come around me, you know. That's just the way I you know. But so it's getting a bit emotional. But yeah, that's just how it is. Like, and I wouldn't do that stuff if I didn't care about Monster Hunter. Like, I could just be chilling. I could just be doing other stuff. You know. It's all in the views, and gaming channels do not pay well. I mean, it pays well if you glaze stuff like crazy me, man. No cap. If you keep coming up with the same meta builds with different weapons day after day, you can make money. You can make money. I'm sure. I'm sure. The same skills. You just rotate the armor pieces. A bit of gore here. A bit RFL there, you know, adding the laggy. Get the Mizzy? Nah, fuck Mizzy. Mizzy's on the shit. And you're golden. You're golden. Yeah, so the only reason I'm saying that, because I just want to set it straight that for the people who are around me, that yeah, that's how much I care about this stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I'm not. I don't really want to hunt. To be honest, I don't want to hunt. I want to talk about stuff. I actually want to talk about stuff more. I want to talk about stuff more. I want to talk about stuff more than hunt today. To be honest. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk, and if I feel like hunting at the end, we'll hunt. But let's talk. So, I don't want to show you that. Not anymore. Yeah, let's go back to this. So, I want to go through some comments. I want to go through some comments from today's video, and we can go through it together. We can have a look together and have a bit of a discussion on what people had to say, and also how I feel about stuff as well. You have any thoughts on Capcom saying they may be interested in bringing Wild Switch 2? That's very interesting. Let me load it up. Young, thank you for saying that, because I actually want to make a YouTube video on that as well. That actually made me laugh when I saw that. Someone sent it to me yesterday on what's it called? Discord. Let me open this up. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yo, why is everything so big? I'm not even logged onto X on this one. Oh, that's fine. By the way, on my funny thing, on my main X account, this guy's banned me. He blocked me maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, so I can't reply. But you know, I hate Elon Musk, but at least one thing is that I can see people's posts that blocked me, so I can see this on my main account, but I can't reply though. I don't remember why he blocked me. I didn't say anything egregious. He just didn't like what I had to say, so he blocked me. So you know what I want to do now. I want to get big enough. I want to get big enough on YouTube. So one day I make a comment, and this guy tries to tweet on me, and he can't because he blocked me. That I can call him a bitch. That's what I need to do. That's my motivation from now on. I'm coming for you, Stealth. I'm coming for you. All right, why did he block you? I have no idea, honestly. Meat Man, hey, good video. Got to pop out. Just want to come. Meat ride you for a second. No Diddy. That's actually crazy. Yo, Meat Man, you know what? I'll take it. Pause. I have an idea for Capcom. Stop putting all your eggs in one basket every financial quarter. Okay, but let's go over what Young posted. This is actually very interesting. Capcom President Tsuji Moto. PlayStation 5 has been a barrier for Monster Hunter Wilds adoption, partly due to the system's price. Wants to get Monster Hunter Wilds into as many people's hands as possible. I'm currently formulating a strategy to boost sales. The response to Switch 2 has been better than expected, which is pretty interesting. No, Nova, I was wondering if you have a courtesy or favorite monster I could draw. I mean, Magnum is my favorite monster. Magnum is the GOAT. I'll tell you my top 3. Magnum, Valstrax, Laggy. My top 3. Go wild. Okay. Yeah, so this is interesting. But we need to look at a lot of things. When you read the article, 'cause I read this article. Well, I skimmed through it. When you read it, he kind of plays down. It's kind of interesting. Because he talks a lot about how selling. This woman singing in the background is a bit too loud. Let me put it down. It's actually kind of distracting me. Okay. So he talks about 10 million sales worldwide, which is pretty cool. It's actually pretty good. Can you guys see that screen? Yeah, I think you can see it. It's actually pretty good. That's 10 million. Well, it's actually not pretty good. It's actually great for a launch, right? But apparently it's what they were expecting. They were expecting to sell 10 million. They're not surprised. This game cost them a lot of money. And obviously, it needed to reach this or somewhere around here to get the target that they were looking for. Now, their problem is now, 3 months after that, it's not selling as well as they wanted it to sell. Now, I believe... I don't have my... I need... Yo, Delta Sub. You're a longsword player. I don't listen to you. I'm just gonna post this here. Alright, you can see here, Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, in 3 months. 3 months, it only sold this many. Basically, in 3 months. And Capcom's kind of worried about that. They expected more. Even though 10 million at the start is great, they expected more than this. So that's why he's saying what he said. Where they sold 10 million in 1 month, which is great. But it's just the beginning of the goal. But it was a goal from the beginning. Right, this is what they wanted. You know, development of Wilds costs a lot of money. So because of that, even though it sold a lot, it's not really doing it for them. They want more than just that. So that's why they want to also bring it to Switch. Now, the Switch in Japan is so cheap. Look at this price. It's basically almost half the price of a PS5 in Japan. It's very cheap. So people are picking up this like crazy. The current Nintendo Switch 2 sales, I believe, is like, what's it? I think it's like 7 million or something worldwide at the moment. And it's just going to keep going higher, definitely in Japan. Now, I think he's mostly talking about Japan, because in the rest of the world, PS5 is doing pretty good. But the Switch is doing crazy good. And I think they want to ride on that. But they're missing their window. I think I've already made videos on it, but they should have definitely had a Rise and Sunbreak 4K texture pack from PC, like when the Switch 2 came out. It should have been there. I think that's probably what they may be planning to do. I think that's a good idea. Apart from that, they need to I mean, I saw Gaijin Hunter. He put out a video, not video, a tweet saying maybe we'll get a GU texture, increase 60 FPS. That's not happening. I don't think so, unless Capcom is really desperate. But I don't think that's the play. I think the play is get Sunbreak to 4K, get to 60 FPS, ride on that. I think that's going to do them well. It will get people coming back to it. Look, they could patch GU, but I don't think they're going to do that. Like, GU is quite old. It's not even running on. It's running on the old engine. It's running on the MT framework, whatever. Basically, think about Wilds' model. Not Wild. It's not Wilds. World's engine is the upgrade engine from GU's engine. So they need to go back and work on a previous engine, which I'm not sure they want to do, right? So I think the best bet is work on Rise, because Rise is on the same engine as Wilds. It's going to be easier for them to do. It's the easiest win for them. Get that up to date. GU can't go into 60 FPS without serious rework. Logic is tied to 30 FPS. Yeah. So I don't think that's going to work. I think Rise play is the best play for them. Go from that and then go from there. Right. But bringing Wilds to Switch too, I don't think that's the play, because it's already struggling on PCs, PS5 and Xbox. It's gonna do really badly on Switch. So I don't think it's gonna do them any favors. Rise is the one. And then they got Stories 3 coming next year, which is going to be pretty good for them, but I think they want more than just that. Unless they have like more content they want to do for Rise for some reason. Like, I don't know what else they could do. That is their play. I think that's the only options they have, honestly. If they patch Rise, do you think it will be free, or would they charge? I think they actually might charge, actually. Unfortunately, I think they might charge at this point. Because, well, Capcom's kind of money hungry. And I don't... Charging $10, £10, whatever, I think they could do it. I think they will do it. And I think fans would be fine with accepting that. If they love the game that much, obviously. The game isn't that expensive anyway. You can get the game for like dirt cheap. So for new people, I think that's fine. For people who already have it, it's probably not the best. But I think that's what they would do. Because they want the money in, right? And that's the way for them to get money. Finally got my first Guardian / Iron Wall deco. 660 hours in, frame. It's been ages since I've seen you, but that's crazy, man. What the fuck? How did it take that long for you? You're unlucky. I think the really easy way for them to make some money would quit to get some half-assed remaster ports of 3U and 4U. I think that's also a play, but I think the Rise one is easier because they've already got, well, Rise is already on Switch, and then they've already got the textures from PC. I think yours is the second easiest because, yeah, that could work. That could honestly work, but they need to rebuild the games for the Switch. Those two games aren't built for the Switch at all. Now, 3U is interesting because 3U actually has 1080p textures. So that would be quite exciting. 4U, unfortunately, didn't have a Wii U version, which is so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. If the Wii U did better, 4U would have a 1080p version, which you could port, and it would look great. Like, I'm just thinking about that. That would look awesome, honestly. If they, yeah, that would be great. I would buy it, but I'm not buying WoW's expansion unless it's less than 10. Bro, 10. That's actually crazy. Less than 10 euros. Holy shit. Never happening, but you know, that's GK, I like your idea about the old ports, but I don't know. Like, I've said it so many times. I think I've made like 2-3 videos over the years saying, is it time? Is it time? They've never done it. They said recently they're not going to do it. So I actually don't know, but they're desperate now. So maybe the high ups are going to force them, right? They might force their hand. Remember, they don't want to work on these games anymore. The online wouldn't work well. Exactly, that's exactly what they said. That is exactly what they said. They said the online would not work. They said the old games are tied to online, so they cannot do the ports. It's too much work. But Delta, when the high ups, when the shareholders, I'm telling you, this man right here has Capcom's devs by the balls. I'm telling you. President Hayu Hiro Tsuji Moto. This guy has Ryozo's balls on his desk. And he's like, do what I want. Give me more money. Make those remasters. And Ryozo's going to do it. Ryozo's going to do it. I mean, they released Wilds how they released it, right? So, like, they're going to do it. When this guy asks, find me some more money, it's gonna come. Those ports are going to come. Yeah, of course, online wouldn't work is bullshit. Like, if Nintendo can bring back SNES games and NES games, put online into them, and bring them to the Switch, then anyone can do anything, all right? I do not believe it. ID Software is doing it with Doom 1 and 2, Heretic, Hexton, and it's apparently selling well. Both of those new ports are really good. Well, yeah. I mean, new ports, people love ports from old legacy games. Definitely ones that are almost like so hard to find, right? Like, it's so hard to find these old games. The DS store is gone. The Wii store is gone. The Wii store is gone. All this stuff. So, like, giving people new ways to play these games is, like, so important. It's so important. Maybe Nintendo could do emulator thing. A Wii, a 3DS. See that, Lady Votes. This is why we keep you around. You're so smart. You're so smart. Exactly. So, okay. So on Switch, on Nintendo, right? On Nintendo. I know people aren't gonna like this because I know Delta wants that what's it called? Delta wants those ports on other systems. Will they come? Probably not. No, they'll probably come. They'll probably come. Now, obviously, emulation is a opportunity when it comes to these the games on Nintendo's platforms. The problem is Nintendo. I mean, people might not like that because I think people want them on PC and they want them on PS5 as well, and Xbox. Well, people like Soars wants an Xbox. So far they've only made it to GameCube. You know, they need to make it to Wii for try, and then they need to make it to Wii U for obviously for Free U, and then, you know, they need to do DS and so on for the other two games for you. Which I think they're kind of far off. So Lady Votes, even though that's a good idea, I don't think they're going to do that. So I'm curious what their plans are, and I think we're going to see in the next couple months. What I'm really interested in is the next financial report to see if Wilds has sold more than this much in the second quarter after the launch month. If it's not more than this, then that's a problem. That's a massive problem, and heads are going to roll. Like, no cap. I mean, not for me. From, like, you know, the Capcom shareholders, they're not going to be like happy. Like, it's just how it is. And the fact that Rise, see, this is very interesting because Rise almost sold. Look at this. Rise sold actually pretty good, even though Rise finished ages ago, right? So seeing this, it might lead Capcom to say, you know what? Maybe we should do something with Rise. Maybe. They don't like emulators that they can't charge people to use. That's true. I thought Nintendo didn't like emulators. Nintendo don't like, yeah, no. Exactly what Young said. Nintendo don't like emulators if it's not their games. Which, I mean, it's their properties, so it is what it is. It's just interesting, right? It's just interesting. But that's what I have to say on that. I did get sidetracked because I wanted to look through some comments, and we're gonna look through some comments together, guys. If you guys don't mind, let's look through some comments on today's video or yesterday's video. I'm gonna just zoom in here a bit. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Okay. Let's do this. Here we go. Cinnamon wood. Actually, no, that didn't do anything. Okay. Okay. So we got a comment here from Ninjaman. Ninjaman said, Ninjaman is a cool guy. He's always around the channel. He said, I just wish they would just use frenzy monsters for endgame. It could be similar to the anomaly system. I think they would be a good foundation for endgame. Yeah, I think it would. I'm surprised they haven't used them at all, honestly. It was very surprising they haven't used them. I don't know. Like it was kind of like a ploy, I suppose. You know, get going. As you get going, I guess you just throw frenzies because you kind of have to. But they didn't do anything with it. Now I'm sure they're gonna do something with it when it comes to the end of the year, title update 4. But it's surprising they haven't done anything with it yet. And maybe honestly they weren't planning on, but maybe they're gonna do it now because they have seen that people are kind of upset by the fact they haven't used them at all. I mean, right now the frenzy is literally isolated to the Ice Shard Cliffs, yeah, and it's only on like 4 monsters. Like most of the monsters are like really weak and piss easy. So it doesn't mean anything. Like, and the frenzy mechanic is barely used in any weapons or armors. It's some of Gore stuff, but it's not that prevalent throughout the actual game at all. It's a bit of fluff that you get through for a bit and then you kind of forget about. I didn't see this one. This was 8 hours ago. Okay, I was at work. Nicholas said, my biggest problem with 9 stars is they made Arc Temper difficulty irrelevant. I never thought about that. Actually, I did, but I didn't think about putting my script. So true. I find that so lame. 10 star got added, and the Arc Temper mobs in them. Yeah, probably. 80 raid out. If do not, it's still harder than 9. And yeah, yeah, probably. Only difference 3 provide different mods. Yeah, nah, fair enough, Scythe. I get you. Frenzy monsters need to do something. It's so primitive that it's not even a system. Yeah, it's just there for the sake of being there, which I could say a lot when it comes to wilds. Mace Gardock said, no, hold on, you're cooking here. Charms should be attached to weapons. Bin those stupid pendants and instead let us stick our charms onto them. That way we can finally make full use of the system. 100%. So what he's talking about is there's a section I was talking about skills in wilds, and it's weird because initially the idea was weapon skills related to attack skills relating to weapons like focus, guard, quick sheath, I believe, maybe, are on the weapons itself, right? Not on your armor. But when it comes to talismans, you can only have 1 talisman, but those can have weapon skills. So it leads to a point where weapon skills can be redundant if you carry 2 weapons, and 2 weapons don't relate to the weapon skill. So I was saying they should, if they want this to work fully, they need to have 2 talismans which you can switch around with the actual weapon. That's not in the game right now. We'll see eventually if it gets there. Young says maybe title update 4 they'll finally do something with frenzy. I think title update 4 they probably will. They have to at that point. Nergy, which is he's another Monster Hunter YouTuber, which is pretty cool. He says, well said. It's kind of insane how much Wilds is leaning into RNG mechanics to stretch an already thin endgame experience. I mean, RNG weapons, RNG decals, RNG talismans. At this point, they should just go all and add RNG weapons, augments / armor. Augments, please don't. Also, like others have pointed out, they could really have done something with frenzy here. Heck, I doubt many would complain if we got a straight copy from 40's endgame with guild quests and more frenzy monsters. See, and this is the problem. And some people didn't understand this, and we're going to get to that eventually. Is I talked about Sunbreak. not to do a one-to-one comparison, saying that Wild should be on the level of Sunbreak Endgame, but I was trying to point out that Monster Hunter Wilds and Capcom need to learn from their previous victories. So you bring back Frenzy, why don't you lean into mechanics from 4U? I don't know why. I actually don't know why they didn't. My main problem with the game is they're not really learning from their previous victories. They're not. I'm not sure what they're learning from sometimes. Let me turn up the volume a bit. I'm not sure what they're learning from, but there's some things they could definitely learn from. There's something they could definitely learn from. I'm not sure why they're afraid of it. If they really want to push weapon switching, just make the player able to switch their complete gear set. I'd rather they just scrap the mechanic, to be honest. Yeah, Alpha, to be honest, that is true. I was thinking about that. The only reason they wouldn't allow that is because of practicality of being able to actually switch armor on the fly. Like it's a bit much when you think about it in a sense of logic, I guess. I think that's the only reason they wouldn't do it, because technically, if you're thinking about it mechanically, for gameplay wise, if you're going to allow them to switch weapons, and weapons literally in Monster Hunter, most weapons can't run the same builds. I know they try to make it the case in Wilds, but some weapons benefit from certain skills, even non-offensive skills, than other weapons. Like evasion, evade distance. Some weapons are better with burst. Some weapons are better with stamina skills, right? It's just how it is, and some people don't need that. So instead of mismatching and making it a thing where people aren't really paying attention that much to armor skills, because it's like, why not? Like, why not just want anything? Anything works with anything. If you cared about the system so much of mechanics and gameplay, yeah, I guess they could have done that. How you make it work, I don't know. It's a bit difficult. Delta said, I'm gonna be honest, Endgame was probably the least important criticism I had with Wilds. I was not vibing with the gameplay and the main game as a whole. So these Endgame focuses change are worthless to me. Delta, I understand you. 100% understand you. And this is the thing that some people may miss. My video isn't about Endgame. It's about Capcom. I mean, Endgame's definitely a part of it, but my Endgame is like the last straw, or the next straw, where I'm like, come on, Capcom, because it just keeps on showing to me that they're not doing what's already worked well. Not just in Endgame, but throughout the game, right? There's some stuff like in low rank and high rank. How low rank and high rank is basically useless, right? The only thing that really matters to people now is literally the end of the game, right? It's things like that, or things like monster difficulty, paying attention to your skill set, monster speed, balancing tankiness, balancing mechanics, balancing weapons. Like all these little things that I feel like Capcom should have learned a bit more, after like 20 years. That's my problem. I don't think they're learning enough. I think that they're forgetting the stuff too often. They're resetting too often. And it's kind of annoying for me. Your point was that we shouldn't have to wait for Master Rank to have good ending. That was one of my other points as well. We shouldn't have to wait. And we shouldn't have to wait for features we've already got. Like, why are you adding features after the fact? Like, if they've already been there before, they should be a staple. At least in my opinion. Definitely the things that matter to people. Sorry if I'm rambling a bit too much. I need to focus. It's like Capcom purposely holds themselves back, making a peak game at launch. I think they do. And probably also, they just run out of time. So I think the argument can be made that you should expect an endgame as fleshed out as the previous game endgame. Because you can't flesh out an endgame in a previous entry and then reset to square one. Exactly. Resetting seems so strange. Now, I don't even think it needs to be on par. I'm not even saying that. I just think it shouldn't be trash. Okay, and we should definitely see things from the other games that highlight it themselves in the new game, and I'm not seeing that. I don't see any benefits from Sunbreak in this game. I don't see any benefits in World or Iceborne in this game. I could say the open world example, like just being able to hunt, is kind of like Guiding Lands, but there's no mechanics in the open world hunting that simulates Guiding Lands. I also don't see anything in GU or Generations or 4U that simulates endgame in this game. You know, I don't see it. Lady Vo says, I got a special investigation Tetranage on the Sunbreak that could kill hunters with a butt slam. It's hilarious. You can buff early game monsters to that insane. Yeah, no, it's pretty insane. Alpha says, I'm annoyed that you can't eat voucher meals outside the gathering hub. That's a bit weird. I mean, eating mechanics is it's a whole thing in this game. Okay, let's continue. Sora says, Unc grabbed my car analogy. Thought I would have noticed. I actually didn't know that was your analogy. We got Meatman here saying, loving the Sunbreak and GU love in here. Good video. It's always good to see, to have all those perspectives out here. And then he talks about me reading out comments from people who put comments on the post. While it should be a lesson for Capcom for them not to sacrifice the integrity of their game to appeal to a general audience. Don't get me wrong, Wilds has some amazing ideas and changes, but they exist in a game where those changes are held back and can't thrive in the way they should in Monster Hunter 100%. This is probably one of the best comments I've ever read. Because there's some things I think is great in Wilds. Like, I think the idea of weather systems changing is pretty damn cool. Does it mean anything? Not really. Not really. It probably just tanks performance. So it's not really helping the situation. What else is there? I think some of the weapon changes are great. I think that the skill system was interesting. I don't think it paid off. Like, there's a lot of things I think are pretty cool, but they're kind of sidelined, or because of them wanting to appeal to a grander audience, it's kind of lost. And it's unfortunate. Alpha says it's fine that the cater a bit to general audience, but they did it wrong this time. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, it's very evident that they cared about general audience more than they cared about their fan base, because they knew their fan base would buy the game anyway. They knew we would. It was kind of evident. So after the fact the game's already come out, that's when they start putting effort into the things we actually care about. That's why we're seeing all those developer things going on now. Because they're like, okay, people are pissed. All right, let's finally do this hardware updates. Let's finally do the things to keep them excited. There's a reason why it wasn't done beforehand. Because it wasn't a priority. The priority was big open world, all these weapon mechanics, bring in new fans and get them excited. The old fans are excited anyway because it's Monster Hunter. And then we'll do title updates to fill in their gaps. That's basically it. It's basically it. And I'm still surprised at launch we had 28 monsters? It's quite low. Should have been higher than that. Okay, we got Young here. Young said, I think if you had more friendly versions of the monsters in Wilds that actually pose a challenge, it could fix a lot of problems you have with Endgame. I personally loved the 9-star update. It brought me back to the game, but I see where you're coming from. Thanks for that, man. Appreciate it. It would be nice if they use friendly more. Did you think they foresaw this backfiring on them? I don't think they saw it backfiring backfiring on them as much as it did, I think they were fine with some backfire coming their way. I think they expected some, but not this much. I don't think they were ready to do as much as they have done when it comes to Endgame and the changes. I don't think so. But that's also an annoying part for me, because then it knowing that, or at least theorizing that, it makes me feel like, wow, that means they thought people would accept the end game, they would accept the performance, they would accept how the game was, and then just fix it after the fact if any issues came, which is basically where we're at now. Volt said, I can't complain. I gotta get better. Sirius to me was way harder than I remember. Realize I just need to be better to win. Exactly what I did, which is pretty cool. Not really relevant to the video, but I mean, yeah, if he's been training, he's been training. I didn't read this comment 3 hours ago. Optimus something. Optimus suck. I don't even like the idea of 9-star. Not only do they feel barely any different from 8-star, they just double down on more damage, more HP equals difficulty. Very true. More difficulty would be given the monster more moves or limiting how much we can supply on the go. That's true. That would make the monsters harder because it changes the gameplay loop around them. Instead, we get a hyper inflated HP and damage. Every move can one-shot you if you're not careful. It's not fun at all. To me, AT should be 8 and 9-star. Since it seems we're not getting any Elder Dragon soon, then make the AT's Apexes more challenging by giving them more damage on top of adding moves. And since they are going to permanent event quests, we could also grind them for talismans. To me, it makes more sense than just inflating the numbers of the same 6 or 7 monsters. Very true. Very, very, very true. Very true. I think that's a good comment. Yeah, no. The problem is, the reason Monster Hunter is like this, the reason, and it was in my script, the reason Monster Hunter is in the state where everything does more damage or has more HP is literally because of this. Well, this is one of the reasons. There's 2 reasons. One of the reasons is resupplying. Resupplying, being able to resupply whenever we want, has made it so Capcom needs to make monsters do so much damage, because otherwise people aren't going to fail quests. Because people can always go back to camp. They can always restock. They'll be fine. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As long as they keep hitting and keep healing, they'll be fine. Secondly, the fact it's kind of so free to cancel out of moves. There's not much repercussion when attacking. You don't have to worry about too much. Like, you can make so many mistakes. You can restock, and there's a lot of cancelling from your moves anyway. So mistakes don't really pile up. The mistakes don't matter. And every weapon becomes super move the weapon. Stuff like that, yeah. Because of that, they have to push on more damage and more HP. They could push on more moves, but more moves means more work. And I don't think they want to put that much work. Limiting stuff, well, if you limit stuff too much, people are going to get annoyed. I've already talked about quests having more limits on them. Not just optional limits like we do sometimes. Investigations are 25 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm saying pretty much all of them need to be 20 minutes or 15 minutes. People would hate that. But if you did all of those things, I think the difficulty wouldn't just need to be more HP, more damage. But unfortunately, that's what they've come to because of resupplying, because of too much freedom in attacking, and because of the limitations. We're just too free. Monsters could have a fair radius, where you can't use the sacred recovery. That would be cool. In world restrictions for difficulty. That is true. That is true. Sora says that's because World came out on console first and was completely finished, so the game was done and no launch day performance issues until World came to PC. Yeah, World on PC was pretty trash. The lack of animation commitments make me sad. Yes, animation commitments, it makes it easier. It makes it so hard. So this is why Capcom needs to do this, because there's no real animation commitment. You don't have to commit in so many situations. So they need monsters to do so much damage. They need them to have so much HP. I strongly agree with your opinions on this update. Ultimately, Worlds fell into the same trap as the majority of titles that have an endgame. A handful of monsters that are harder and way more rewarding than the rest, while the others are stuck in the event quests and such. I heard Capcom will be making 9-star events for other monsters, which would be which would be nice. I'm not that much of a fashion hunter, so I'd be more inclined to come back for harder fights. Give me cosmetics to flex with. Fair enough. My main point wasn't, I mean, no, it was a good comment. It was a good comment. Let's see what this guy has to say. Now we're getting the most balancing than ever, because this is the first time a Monster Hunter game is being released at the same time on PC. They got more access to information than ever. They are more connected to the community than ever. It was a philosophy change inside Capcom like 5 or 6 years ago. They decided to switch things around and listen to fans' demands way more. That went. They switched to Resident Evil 7 to be a horror-centered game. Remake the Resident Evil old games. Make a Mega Man game. Capcom has been quite connected with fans. This is not balancing because the game is broken. Even if the game was perfectly... Oops, I'm getting a phone call. I'll talk to you later. I'm with the homies right now. Even if the game was perfectly balanced... Okay, let me actually tell them I'm with the homies right now. Give me a sec. Even if the game was perfectly balanced, they would still be asking fans if things are okay. What's it called? Okay, this is Capcom's philosophy, not a correction or course of the game. So this one's pretty interesting. I think the thing is, Capcom can get information regardless if it's on PC or not. Base World, they can get as much information as they want, right? Like, you don't need to have your game on PC to understand and get metrics of people playing your game. Most of these developers have inbuilt functionality or features into their games to get information from people when they play the games online. So basically, they have your information on PS5 or PlayStation 4, whatever, when you're playing World. So it's not just PC. So I don't know. Like, I think even on PC, even on the consoles back in the day, they have enough information to make judgment on balancing. So I'm not super sold that they're making so many adjustments because they're in tune with the fans. Because if they really were in tune with the fans, we wouldn't be where we are in the first place. Like, we really wouldn't be here. They're much more in tune with what they want us to be in tune with. But we'll see this in the future. Like, I will make my full judgment on this when we see future games. Capcom hard focused on people who abandoned ship in World at Jaguars, which is how we got Wilds. But they don't think about the fact that if someone dipped at the start of the game, they weren't interested. It's very possible. General question: does the game really need to be hard, or is it good gameplay more important? Is good gameplay more important than hard gameplay? I mean, I think it's a bit of both, honestly. I think if a game's too easy but the gameplay's peak, people are still going to get bored because you're just slapping around shitty monsters with in peak style. Like, the game would kind of become like a jerk fest, right? Making you seem like you're the best player in the world, but everything you're fighting is just falling apart. You know, people like some resistance. They like to have some challenge. So they want something to challenge them against them. Some resistance. So maybe it doesn't need to be super hard, but it still needs to have resistance so they can still feel enjoyable. That's what I believe. I believe both is important, but gameplay is more important to me. I think Wild and Rise is just what you explained. I think so too. I think Rise's gameplay, like, I like Rise a lot. Like, I like base Rise a lot, but Rise's gameplay is too easy. And because it was too easy, and I knew Dell was going to say something, because Dell had a big issue with Rise. Because it was too easy, people went through the game too quickly, and there wasn't enough content. There wasn't even an end game in that game either, which was a big problem. And then it kind of feels hollow. When you're killing bosses, and like Magnum Marlowe is one of the best monsters. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Magnum Marlowe is one of the best monsters Monster Hunter's ever created. But because when you fight him, the first time when you fight him, he's so easy. They set him up to be this big bad boss. He's so easy. People they take him as a joke. They joke around in him. They think he's nothing. But his gameplay is sick. It's just that he died too easily. He's such a good monster. The way he fights, the way he moves, the way he sounds, everything is sick. I don't care what you say, Dell. I don't care. I don't give a shit. All right, we can fight. But he was just too easy. So people forget him. People hate on him. But people glaze Arkveld, which I don't understand. But that's another story. And people glaze Nurgante because a lot of people played World first. But Nurgante is easy as fuck. But for their first monster, he was hard. So they glaze him because he put up challenge for those people's first monster. But Magnum Marlowe, second game going in, he wasn't that hard. So people joke around at him. Delta said, if Demo Magnum Marlowe was real Magnum Marlowe, maybe I'd have more respect. Come on, Delta. If Demo Magnum Marlowe was the real Magnum Marlowe, everyone would think this guy's the GOAT. It's crazy. Absolute crazy monster. Sunbreak is the same as Rise for me. It's just so rambled when you can answer everything's cool with the same counter move. See, I have a problem with counters. I've already talked about that before in a previous video a long time ago. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. But I think too many of them are too free. One of my problems with Rise, even though I love Sunbreak, like I'm not gonna cap it. I love Sunbreak. My problem is the balance was off. Counters shouldn't be as easy as they were. Counters should have had more cooldowns. And they should have been harder to pull off. In that way, I would have been more fine with the gameplay. I think more people would accept it. But the balance was off. I still think the balance is off. I still do. Because I think having those mechanics is cool. I think it's fun. It's fun. But how you balance it is important. Capcom didn't get the balance right. I hope next time they do. I really hope they work and balance more when it comes to those mechanics. I think it can work. They just need to really get it down. Honestly. Nurgante make noobs learn the game. Vets could cook him, but noobs were able to learn and get good. That's why Nurg is highly regarded. But the thing is, my cousin, he fought Magnum Marlowe and he was getting destroyed even in Village. Even in Village, he was getting destroyed. But no vet was doing that. No vet was getting destroyed because he was too easy. So people just moved on. But some new players, they got destroyed. But yeah, he was too easy. So they couldn't learn. Monsters need to be a bit hard. There needs to be something. I'm not going to say anything about Magnato until we get it in a game where monster AI isn't trash. Verify. You can have your thoughts. You can have your thoughts. It's a Syndrome quote from The Incredibles. If everyone is super, no one will be. 100%. 100%. Like, there needs to be limits. People can't just be countering so easily. I don't think having counters is wrong. I just think it needs to slow down a bit. Okay, so let me go back into this. So Anthony had an interesting thing here. Kinsets, you know, I'm kind of bored with this music, this wild music. Let's listen to something different. Let's listen to something different. That was kind of getting boring. Let's listen to some Monster Lo-Fi. Okay, cool. Nergi is a good monster. It had the thing that teaches you how to be aggressive and rewards you for it. Okay. So Anthony said Kinset should interact more with the hunter. IG poses, gestures, enhance. I want my Kinset to do more instead of glued to my arm. This guy loves Instaglaive way too much. Yeah, I was done with that music. I was done. Like, he's always on brand. Like, one thing about Anthony, like, you guys can look at every single one of my videos. He's there. He is there. Like, I don't know. Let's go to this one. Is Anthony here? Is Anthony here? I gotta say, is Anthony here? There he is. There he is. Forget Wilds. I just got Berserk 2, Talisman, and Sunbreak. IG mains can't stop winning. This fucking guy. Let's go to another one. Let's go to another one. Is he in this one? Is he in this one? Oh, he's not in this one. Oh, okay. Anthony missed that one. Okay. Let me go back. Let me go back a couple months. I'll go back all the way down here. Was Anthony here? Oh, Anthony, you missed out some, man. What slacker? But honestly, guys, for the last couple months, this guy's always just talking about Instaglaive. Like, that's all he talks about. Every time you see him post, there we go. We need always Hanoa and Minato. That's literally all he talks about. That's literally it. Like, he talks about nothing else. You always see him in my channel. Always. If you guys think Omega gonna be hard like Behemoth, been playing through Wild's Iceborne for the first time and was not ready for that difficulty. I don't know. I actually don't know. But the thing is about Behemoth isn't a solo hunt. It's built for like a couple of people. I don't think Omega's gonna be that tough, to be honest. I don't think so. Anyway, let's go back to talk about what here. Forget Anthony. So this one was interesting, and this one kind of annoyed me a bit. I can't lie. Lord and Sunji, a bit weird to compare completed endgame system to one that still getting updates for, in all fairness. Would you have gone with an earlier version of it based on what they had? Would have gone with an earlier version of it based on what they both had. See, the problem is with this comment is in no way was I doing a one-to-one comparison from Sunbreak to Wilds. Because that wouldn't be fair. That was not my problem. Now, basic, and then what I said to him is that's not the main point. The idea is that you learn from previous games, regardless if they're complete or not. They're all Capcom's games. The good things from them, they should continue onto other games. Same for the interesting features. They've had many games with Endgame. Look at those. see what works and what didn't. Then using those as a blueprint for your next game is the way to go. Not doing a restart and making it worse. That doesn't make sense. If you're not going to learn from the previous successes, what's the point in having a franchise? Now, I use Sunbreak as an example, not because I was comparing them to say something's better than Wild's Endgame. I never even said that. I mean, obviously, yes, but I didn't say that. What I was saying is that they should learn, or Lord, they should learn from previous Endgames. Would have thought more base Rise system. Well, base Rise didn't have an endgame, and that was also a problem. But Lord Shunji, the thing I'm talking about, unfortunately, a lot of those companies don't look back at what works. The thing is, companies, they do. There's a reason why Wilds is what it's like. It's because of World. They saw World. They did marketing saying return to World. They made the world bigger. They brought back Tempered Monsters. They pushed more into story because they saw it brought in the casual audience. They wanted to recreate World in success. It's what they do. Capcom has looked at the past in every game they made, apart from, I think, in the 5th and 6th gen. If you look at Monster Hunter Tri, look at 3U, look at 4, look at 4U, look at 5 and 5. Look at G and GU. Those games literally take on the best parts of the previous games. Literally. Like literally. The next game in the iteration. And then they stick with what worked. Like mountain. Like jump attacks. Certain game mechanics. And they left out the things that people didn't like. Which is underwater combat. Unfortunately. They've been doing it. It's just in 5th gen and 6th gen, they haven't done that. Every game is a reset. Apart from the parts that got people, the casual audience, excited into the games. Where I've said people have gotten conditioned to having a shit base game and just waiting on a better expansion. Yeah, honestly, that's also the case. That's also the case. We're conditioned to do that. But in modern day gaming, or just gaming in general, why am I expecting a game to be shit? I'm paying money. It doesn't matter what game it is. Like, you shouldn't expect the game you're buying to be shit. Like, that doesn't make sense. That does not make sense. Jenky said World's gameplay is what made it successful. That is true. But what you market to the casuals is the fact that there's a new world. You're going to find these dragons and dinosaurs. Just gameplay alone don't bring casuals in. Pretty graphics does. Showing them there's a narrative, and then having big dragons on the way as well. What keeps them to stay is the gameplay. That's what makes them stay. When it comes to casuals, at least, in my opinion. I might be wrong on that, but that's what I believe. Scar said, really hate some monsters are just worth less to fight than others. Nuujo never gets an investigation with a lot of talismans, but Siridios, Laggy, and Arkveld gives you way more. I don't know anything about that, to be honest, but that's unfortunate. World's Endgame on Title Day 2 are so much better than World. I think I like this. I don't know why this went away. World and Rise is Title Update 2. I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna cap. I think Wilds in the silo, the end game, the title updates are better than World and Rise. In the silo, apart from Title Update 1, I think that's atrocious. I think 2 is good. But the problem is, the base game itself was missing things, and then Title Update 1 had to fix that. It's unfortunate. I need to drink some water. I'm talking too much. Look, guys, sometimes I may be wrong as well. Like, I have no problems being wrong. So if you guys think I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know. Phoenix says they should have given other monsters like Rathalos. Yep, okay, yeah. So basically giving other monsters 9-star treatments. I'm guessing it's gonna come eventually. Good gameplay was the only reason why I have 4K hours in World. Yeah, man, it kept you staying, right? And that's the thing. Monster Hunter is all about the gameplay. But I think Capcom's kind of not focusing on that. Not just on what we can do, but also the limitations of what we can do, and how we interact with the world, and how the world interacts with us. It's all important. Rise didn't even have real title updates. Remember that version 2 and 3? Yeah, they weren't too good. Unfortunately, COVID really fucked Rise up. It's unfortunate. Oh, I'm gonna have to go through a lot of comments. This is a lot, man. Okay. Flub said, I think the way I enjoy Monster Hunter makes Wilds feel great to me. I have never been a type to really care about never cared about or engaged in endgame systems Monster Hunter offers. I'll do stuff like anomaly quests and hypers, but never actively looked for a particular thing for an optimize to be made, because I'm not really trying to get better times or anything like that. I just hop on the Monster Hunter game to have a good time. Whether that's hard or not is really up to how I feel in the moment. If I want to struggle a little, I'll fight something harder. If I want to chill, I'll go against something a bit weaker. I think how Wilds is really works well with that for me. Every fight in the game feels good to me, and the variety of monsters is phenomenal. It makes me think of how weird I feel about World. Interesting. Which is the least favorite Monster Hunter game. Okay. Yeah, it's good, but I don't know. It never felt as fun to just hop into World. I didn't enjoy it as much as other games. Sorry for taking so long to say that. Yeah, same. GU Rise. Okay. I do agree that this should have probably been in the best game, but part of me also thinks Capcom just has no clue what to do regarding difficulty because of how certain monsters went down in World. Lunastra, Electrion, Fatalis. When you make something tough and then gets review bombed for it, then your next game is consistently criticized for being too easy. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to make of that? It's just a tough spot to be in. Talismans are whatever. I don't really care about that. I'm more into the experience, the fights, and see what the monsters do and stuff. Again, endgame optimization stuff has never really been something I cared about. Sorry. Okay. So, and Jackie, me and you have really opposite opinions, because G is actually my favorite game. G is my favorite game, and Rise is actually my second favorite game. Well, Sunbreakers. And I guess Flub here and you have big differences in opinion, because he finds World to be his least favorite. And Yowind, which is quite interesting. To be honest, I mean, I'm starting to think about my least favorite game recently, and I'm not too sure. I'm actually not too sure. Like Genki, I know you're not gonna like this, Genki, but before, World was my least favorite Monster Hunter game. I'm not too much of a fan of World, I can't lie. I can play it, but I'm not like excited to play it. I can just play it. But recently, Wilds might be my least favorite. Actually, I was thinking about it. Wilds actually might be my least favorite. It might have got down there. So Wind, yeah, you won, man. You won. Wilds is my least favorite. I think right now. I think so. I think so. I think so. We got Lord Sunji once again. Says this one is definitely utilize the weapon swapping when needing to break specific parts, which leads to into choice for weapons. Okay, so basically overall, he says that he sometimes uses gun lance, so greatsword and heavy bowgun in different ways to break certain stuff. You know, heavy bowgun can't break the tail. He'll use that, but if he needs to, break the wing, he'll go for heavy bowgun. So he actually uses two weapons, and he was saying my argument was an overgeneralization. Fair enough, maybe it was. We had a bit of discussion over this. Let me see. We had a bit of discussion over this. I was saying, okay, what is overgeneralized? Let me know. He says, one I could pick out is saying that weapon skills on charms don't work unless you can swap charms around them. He said, could be true that if there were no weapons that do share some skills. Okay. He says, like hammer, greatsword, and bow can use focus. But if you have conflicting weapons, then you would go for one of the damaging skills. Both weapons can use the crit eye or crit boost, which majority of the weapons do want. So basically what he's saying is there are still some crossover with skills. So the fact that talismans now have weapon skills doesn't break the philosophy of Wilds, because it's up to us as hunters to take what we want to conflict or match stuff, or you go for generic skills like crit eye and boost, which is interesting. I went in to say, well, if that's the case, why split weapons in the first place then? If you can basically take and build however you want via talisman and it doesn't matter, then what's the point of having two weapons as an option? It doesn't make sense, right? If weapon skills and talismans don't mean anything, then why split them at all? People could just pair weapons with skills that make sense, but they didn't go that route because they didn't want redundancies as stated in the article. He says, would have to ask the devs for that exact reason. Well, the thing is, asking the devs for the exact reason, I mean, yeah, but the best we can do is actually go by what they've said. And what they said is in the articles. And in the articles, they said they didn't want it to be redundant. That's why they built it the way they did, right? So it is kind of interesting to continue saying that we need to ask the devs when I'm basing it on what they've said. And that's the best we can do. Lady Vo says, welcome to the Wilds Lee's Monster Hunter game gang. Yeah. What can I say, man? What can I say? Thank you for the video. You highlighted every issue in this game and didn't miss a beat. Let's face it, performance is the least of the game's problems. The game design is a major concern for me. Performance can be fixed, hopefully, but game design is much more difficult to fix. This is funny. This is actually funny. Okay, I said indeed, it's a ground up thing. One thing I want to talk about in particular is the transition of low and high rank to endgame. I'll get to that in time. He says, what transition? What transition was there? Wait, was there a low / high rank? That's true. There probably wasn't. In this game, not really. Not really. Sorry, guys. I'm reading so garbage sometimes today. Well, we got Mr. MH Hunter. You should check him out. He's a good YouTube channel. He's got some really good content. Check him out. He says, preach, brother. Nice to see some thoughts from other viewers as well. It turns out there's a lot to talk about with Endgame. I'm actually getting tired of talking. I can't lie, guys. I'm actually getting tired. There's so many comments. So many. God damn. Let me see if I can look at some that I want to read out then. Okay, this is a big comment. This is kind of a big comment. The whole philosophy behind the system was flawed. Yeah, at this point, that sounds like half of the game as well. There's so many things in this game that just feel super flawed, and the worst part is they had it figured out in the previous games. You'd have to read them all out. Okay, fair enough. Okay, why don't they why did they think Artyom was good at all? It took the worst parts of several systems and put into one. That's very true. That is very true. People cannot use the excuse that comparing it to something isn't fair. They literally have tons of feedback from previous game systems and then just choose to go with this one. He gets it. This guy gets it. This is my guy. He understands the mission. He understands. You cannot say using Sunbreak is not fair because they have the feedback. They can see what worked in Sunbreak and they can decide what to take on for the future, or what worked in World, what worked in GU, what worked in 4U. Instead, they're going for the worst parts, the worst parts of 4U and World instead when it comes to RNG weapons. They're not looking at the good parts. Like what the hell? What the hell? It doesn't make sense. It actually doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. No way. No way. They have so much feedback. They have so many metrics. They can see what worked. Like, it's so simple. They just decided not to. And then they made Artyom. How do you make Artyom out of that? I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it. I'm actually getting pissed just thinking about it. The super flawed thing doesn't even end there. Look at the whole pact mechanic that barely exists. Wounds in general. Wounds were just way too easy to get into. Way too powerful. But then the solution to it is just make the endgame monsters more resistant to it, but none of the rest. The problem is making the endgame monsters more resistant just means the whole mechanic that you built now is basically kind of gone in the latter portions of the game for like most of the fight. So it's an interesting fix. You're fixing the issue by taking away one of your biggest mechanics from the game. I mean, if you're doing that, that kind of shows to me that, yeah, it was flawed. It was flawed from the get-go. Now, I've said it many times if you've watched me on streams. The reason they needed to do this is because focus strikes are so goddamn laggy. Every single one is so laggy that they don't work unless the monster gets flinched and gets knocked over. None of them are hitting. None of them are hitting at all. So they had to backtrack and just basically make them resistant to it, instead of just making it still happen, but they don't get flinched. Because if they didn't get flinched, you're never hitting one. You're never hitting. Garlance is never hitting. Charge Blade is never hitting. What else? Dual Blades is never hitting. Like, never hitting. Switch Axe isn't hitting. Hammer isn't hitting. Great Sword isn't hitting. If the monsters don't flinch. Like, the moves just don't allow monsters to keep attacking. They need to flinch. That's why they need to make monsters resistant to it, because it doesn't work. It actually doesn't work. And it's a shame because it's a big mechanic of theirs, right? But they just have to make it happen less because, well, it makes the game too easy. Ugh. Janky says, to me, it's funny that people complain about difficulty and the lack of endgame when we have monsters that are scripted and riddled with bad AI. That it doesn't really matter how much HP they have. It's true. It doesn't matter. As long as the AI is bad, it doesn't matter how much HP they have, because it's just going to be the same thing. It's just going to be the same goddamn thing. This was a good comment. I need to read this another time. This is an interesting comment. I haven't read this comment before. This is very interesting. Okay, Rice Bake was built by Driven Team, the Portal team, while World was cooking with Iceborne, the main team. Portal team does the crazier side, while the main team works on games like Wilds. Main team cherry picks things that the Portal team create. Plus, people do demand some of the systems back, while also complaining about them. In end, in end, in end change. In the end, change is needed and tested by us causing it's the fans that influence things. Kay says, you say that, but these are primarily a handheld series. The sales don't lie. No one knew of Monster Hunter till cult franchises of Portable created world. That's why talismans are better in Rise. Now, this is interesting because whoops. This is interesting because just because look guys, just because the Rise team is creating the Portable games, or the Portable team is creating the Portable games, and the other team is creating the main games, it doesn't mean these guys don't work. Like, these guys definitely work together. Like, they speak, they plan, they understand what's going into each game, they understand which monster's going into each game. Like, obviously, it wouldn't make sense if they don't. So it's true that they do have different directives and different focuses. That doesn't mean they can't learn from each other. And they have learned from each other. It's how it works. It's how game development works. Right? It's why we see some things in World from other games, why we see some things from Rise, from World, and why we see some things in Wilds from both Rise and from World as well. Because they do pick the things and they do learn from each other. My problem is, in Wilds, they're not learning the good parts. They're just learning the bad parts. For the most part. Ugh. What else to say? Guys. I think I've talked quite a bit. I don't think I can talk anymore. My voice is feeling it. I'm not even lying. But if there's any last things you guys want to ask me, ask me. My voice is actually feeling it right now. Holy shit. I talked way too much. They definitely do. We didn't we find out that they made the clutch call because they saw Rise making the Y bug during the development. Yeah, maybe. I heard something about that, right? I definitely did hear something about that. Yeah, it was on the 3DS first, and then they moved it to the Switch. Yes, exactly. So in development, like, people just work together. It's obvious. It's obvious. It's just what they do. Like, they're not all siloed off. It's not how things work. It's honestly not how things work. So I know it's how people think it works, but it's not how it works. They are different teams. Well, apparently, according to Gaijin Hunter, the last time he talked about it, they are practically the same team now. It's just they shift people around to work on different projects. So, like, yeah, they're not so separate anymore. I'll read some of your last comments. Wilds is my new least favorite Monster Hunter. Welcome to the final level of Doom, my friend. I guess I got there. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the content, drop a like. I'd appreciate it. Oh, drop a like. I would actually love for Capcom to bring back For You in some way. Playing For You again on my Switch or whatever, I think that'd be cool. I want to give that game another go. It's been so long. For You is the game I haven't played for the longest. Because I'm not touching my 3DS ever again. That is the one game I haven't touched in so long. So I would love to play that game again and really, really relive the hype. Really, yeah. Anyway, guys, I think this is good. We talked quite a bit. So if this was a bit all over the place. Ultimately, I'm not really sure what to think about the future when it comes to Monster Hunter. I need to see what happens with the expansion. When updates come out, like updates for Wilds, I will come and play. You know, but I'm not gonna be like playing like a normal game. I'll just play it when things happen. And I'll talk about things, you know. Things I care about talking about. Complain emulator. Come on, Lady Votes. Maybe. I'll think about it. I'll think about it, guys. Delta and Lady Votes. I'll think about it. It's fine to cover other games as well. Yeah. I could do that. I'll think about it. I still have videos I want to make on other parts of Monster Hunter as well. I have a lot of GU videos I still want to do, so maybe I'll go back to that. You think the expansion will fix the game for you? I think that's a difficult one. You know, I actually not. I don't know. The problem is it's not about. It's not about. It's how am I gonna put this? Okay, let me just lay it on you. Pause. It's not that I think the expansion is gonna be shit because of the base wilds. I think I'm hesitant about the expansion because I don't know if Capcom. No, I'm hesitant about the expansion because I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy Capcom's philosophy for the game. Like if the philosophy for the game is the same as it is for Wilds, then I'm not gonna be really that excited. It's not gonna be that cool for me. It's not gonna be that fun. Become a Doom tuber in 2025? Nah, I'm not a Doom tuber. I can't be because when I see something I like, I'm gonna get hyped. I'm too honest to be a Doom tuber. Like I think it's because of Capcom's philosophy and their mindset that I'm hesitant to understand or be excited about the expansion. Not because of what they've done. It's because of what I think they will do. Which doesn't make sense when I say it, but it makes sense in my head. I don't know how to explain it. I need to think about it a bit more. Wowzers has too many core issues that can't be fixed. I'm interested to see what the next video from Shepard has to say, because Shepard talked about that. Even he said that, which is quite interesting. I know you said that for Wildwind, and Soas said it. A lot of people on the Discord have said it. I'm not too sure how I feel about that. Well, I wasn't before. Now I'm wondering about it. And maybe it's the case that Wilds can't be fixed for me without it not being Wilds. Maybe that's the thing. But not just because of Wilds. There are things that have slowly been added to 6th gen and 5th gen, which when you pile them on top of each other, I think is a bit too much. and maybe we've hit that limit. To be honest, in World, I already kind of hit my limit a bit, but I accepted it in World and Rise because not all of it, obviously not all of it. It was new ground. Capcom was starting in a new gen where things are becoming more mainstream. I was more willing to see where they're gonna go with it. But now we're in Wilds, and I've seen where they're going, and it's basically going more mainstream, taking more away from the game itself. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. Trust me, man, I know how you feel. I'm just not that interested about Monster Hunter anymore. And hell, I used to speedrun, okay. But not the target audience anymore, so I'm gonna move on to other things. That's probably the thing. Maybe I'm gonna play other games, you know. I'm gonna play other games and do other things as well. You gotta return to World again, Nova. It's gonna get even better. Delta, trust me, it's not. I really don't want to play World. I didn't want to do it the first time, but Win made me. He actually made me. I mean, I don't regret doing it though. It was good. The streams were good. Killing Fatalis was great. Electron was great. Yeah, no, it was good, but I don't feel like doing it again. I wouldn't mind playing GU though. Like, I'll always play GU. GU is sick. I wouldn't mind playing 4U or 3U. It's been a while. Can't lie. When that 4K texture pack comes out for Sunbreak, you know I'm gonna be there. But I don't feel like playing World, honestly. Play Remnant 2 if you like Buildcraft. That game will keep you busy for a long time. I'll consider it. I still have a lot of games in my backlog that I bought, have not played. So full GU Prowler stream when? You know what, Sawyers? I'll get back to you on that one. I'll get back to you. Promise. It will happen. It will happen. We sent to GU and Sunbreak gotta happen. I don't think Capcom's gonna do that, you know. I don't think when Portable 6 comes out, they're not gonna make a return to Rise marketing scheme. They're not gonna do that. I don't think so. Nah, they're not gonna do that. To be honest, I think that return to World thing backfired on them because they did that leading up to Wilds, and they got a lot of World fans hyped like Wilds is like World when it isn't. It got them disappointed. Well, Delta, you're just not built enough. You're not built like we are. You're a longsword hunter. A longsword main you just can't handle it. Like, it's just it. Sunken cost fallacy for me. I feel too invested with the series. I'll play Monster Hunter till I die. But if games keep progressing like this, it just means I'll play games less and move on quicker. Fair enough. But you know, Lady Votes, I don't think the stories series is gonna fail. I think it's always gonna be good. So wait until story's free. I think you're gonna be quite excited. Anyway, guys, I think that's it for me. It's been almost 2 hours of talking straight. My voice is tired. I'll be on Discord later if you want to chat, I guess. Actually, probably not. Maybe some more. I want to go to bed soon. I hope you guys do good. We will talk more. I will do more videos in time. I'll take a break for a bit. Maybe next week. Anyway, guys, catch you next time. See ya.